Solid Gold Soul, AM 1400. From the Glory side, half past the hour, Jay Johnson and Dr. Brenda Wall at 1-800-366-8696. We're talking about divorce. Hot topic this morning on another Brenda Minute.
Now an NBA Tall Tale.
Buffalo's home of classic soul hits from the 60s and 70s, AM 1400. Solid Gold Soul.
AM 1400. Hey, you're on your radio with Super J. On Solid Gold Soul.
All right, Jay on the radio along with Dr. Brenda Wall, and we're talking about divorce this morning. Interesting callers are coming in. Talking about a divorce, what are some of the effects that divorce has on people?
I think people feel guilty. You marry for love, you marry for life, you marry for that kind of commitment. People very often honor the religious vows, and when it falls apart, there's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of self-recrimination. I should have done better. That's very difficult. There's anger. A lot of anger at your partner, anger at yourself. Why didn't this thing work? I did everything I could possibly do. So the feelings that go along with that, and sometimes children get caught up in that I'm angry with him, and you're going to grow up to be just like him. So a lot of those feelings that come up, the sadness, lost hope, I'm never going to be able to be in love because this didn't work, and if this didn't work, I know my life is over. So a lot of those heavy feelings surface during the attempt to work out a bad marriage and during the aftermath when it's over. So a lot of those heavy feelings need to be understood so you can understand how healthy you are in accepting those feelings, but moving through them. We never want you to get stuck.
In your opinion, should a marriage stay together for the sake of the children?
People who have that kind of love for children are to be respected. I think that's important. But what happens to children who live in a household where there's bitterness or coldness also have a lot of emotional issues that they have to address. So I think couples have to be very careful if they're really giving their children a gift of stability or if they're giving them a hardship of not having them understand what love is like. Well, we're good in front of our kids. We never argue in front of our kids. But the children very often may not see the affection and the warmth, and that might backfire in some ways as well. I think it's important for adults to be very clear on how they are responsible and addressing their own needs.
Who do children generally hold at fault when a divorce occurs?
I think it's possible for children to be so well adjusted that they accept it as something that is difficult and unwanted, but that it's the best decision for the family. And in that situation, you're going to have children who feel loved by both parents, whether they're custodial parent, mother, father. I don't think that there's an automatic aligning with one parent. We hear mothers who are responsible very often for that caretaking who seem to have the bond because they are going to often accept responsibility for children. But we have fathers who have custody as well. So it's not a hardcore.
Is it a specific age group that more is willing to accept this divorce? I mean, obviously a child 4 years old doesn't know what's going on.
It impacts a child who is 4 years old or even younger. Even infants can sense the emotional feelings of parents when they're being held, when there's argument. So even infants do respond to the emotional climate. But all children want to have that intact family. All children have that fantasy. Even kids in college or adult children, when they find out that their parents are getting a divorce, have to go through, my gosh, the world is upset for me. There's a disruption for me. And that trauma is something that has to be resolved.
So there still is a stigma around divorce then?
I think there is a stigma, but I think more importantly, there is a trauma that affects everyone because we really do have a breaking apart. It really is a rip, and it is something that is very painful. Even though we're doing it because it may be a survival technique, it's a very painful experience.
Dr. Brenda Wall at 1-800-366-8696.
AM 1400.
She is just that, a dancing machine. Good morning, Jay on the radio, 1-800-366-8696. Your chance to Dr. Wall. Your chance to talk to Dr. Wall. Yeah, that's the ticket.
That's the ticket.
Yeah. Well, Pam. Police in Egypt say it all started when a 32-year-old housewife complained that her neighbor's kids were making too darn much noise while playing. An argument ensued, during which the housewife punched 23-year-old noisemaker in the face, killing her instantly. She's in jail for murder.
Boy, she Mike Tyson or what?
They need a 911 number over there.
You know?
Are you ready?
Kick it. Good morning. The man who confessed to killing Martin Luther King Jr. has won a victory in court. A judge has backed new tests on the gun James Earl Ray allegedly used to kill the civil rights leader. Ray's attorneys say modern technology will prove that the rifle was not the murder weapon. But a state attorney doubts James Earl Ray will ever get the trial he's requesting. Assistant DA John Campbell appeared on ABC's Nightline. He believes Ray's confession and not his claims of innocence seals the case.
As far as we're concerned, Mr. Ray's part of the case has been adjudicated. If there are other people involved, there's nothing that says the case cannot be opened to investigate them, and we have made that clear from the beginning.
Campbell adds it would be difficult to try the case nearly 30 years later when several witnesses are dead. Prosecutors plan to rest their case today in the murder trial of former Fort Bragg soldier James Burmeister. So far, evidence has shown that Burmeister was in the area the night James Michael and Jackie Burton of Fayetteville were murdered. It also showed that his gun was used to kill both victims and that blood spatters found on his clothing were likely from the victims. However, fingerprint experts testified they could not find any conclusive evidence that Burmeister is the one who actually pulled the trigger. Black children in poor areas are still the most likely victims of lead exposure.
We found that poor, non-Hispanic black children living in large metropolitan areas of the U.S., and those who live in old houses are more likely to have elevated lead levels.
That's why the government is now making new efforts to reduce blood lead levels of inner-city kids. They are making headway. There's been an 80% drop since the 70s. Autumn Jackson is sticking by her story that she is Bill Cosby's daughter. Yesterday, she pled not guilty to extortion charges. According to the indictment, Jackson sent letters and faxes to Cosby's lawyer demanding $40 million to keep quiet. Her lawyer now says that they will prove Cosby is her father. That's what's happening in the news this hour. I'm Pam Gibson.
26 years.
Get your work day started with me, Jay Johnson, mornings on AM 1400. Solid gold. So,
I need your sweet inspiration. I need you here on my mind every hour of the day.
This morning we're talking about divorce, the dimensions of divorce, how it impacts us, how we make the decision around that. If you want to participate, 1-800-366-8696. We got a caller, familiar caller. Okay.
Hey, look here, I want to put that in and put that in.
All right.
I had a mother-in-law one time. She told me, she said, Ed, that we're going to get rid of you.
And was there a reason that she said that? Was she motivated appropriately to say that?
But I think she was motivated. It's the thing that she saw, see, but it wasn't like she really saw it. I used to at a service station at night time, and I used to pick up different people, camp different places, to fix the cars and everything. And she was sitting with this lady. Lady, the cars broke down on the interstate, so I was going out there, find out what's wrong with it. And then she got wind of it, and the thing started escalating. And the next thing I know, the marriage was going downhill.
Well, I think this helps us look at the issues of appearance, issues of building those relationships, not just with the wife, but with the wife's family, and how important that can be. Thanks for calling.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think it always lets us look at situations in terms of levity, and I think this way we really do look at it. Sometimes families are concerned; they want the best for their children, and that's a dynamic that affects us when we're looking at bringing families together and dissolution of families.
Appearances and things like that Ed mentioned. Does a relationship bring baggage with it, like from previous relationships and responsibilities that may have happened to you? For instance, you had a relationship with a person, and that person had an affair on you. So now you are charged to believe that anyone you have a relationship is going to carry that?
Yeah, that can happen very much in the dating situation, and certainly it can happen when there is marriage and you get to a level where you need to have deeper intimacy, and the ability to trust may not be there. So sometimes you do have to work through those issues. But if you understand that about yourself, and if you are available to deal with that with your partner, resolution is at hand.
All right. 1-800-366